Show. I'm your host, Siryn, and we have a great show for you today. The theme of this week's episode is music. And there's so much wonderful musical news to celebrate in the world of Final Fantasy this week. I can't wait to share it with you all. And we also have an incredibly talented musical guest, an Italian opera singer by the name of Paolo Andrea Di Pietro. He now works as a singer and actor in Japan, and most notably for our show was a featured singer on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as well as the Final Fantasy VII Intergrade DLC. And my personal favorite, he was the French and Italian voice for Draco in the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. But first, last episode, I promised you guys that every episode I would go over our audience participation question. And the first episode, of course, I had to ask, what is your favorite Final Fantasy? The results are in, and with the most votes for first place for Best Final Fantasy, drum roll please, was Final Fantasy X. A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. We still have a small audience, so it was certainly not the largest sample size, but I'd love to hear in the comments what you think of this result, and did your favorite win? Stick around to the end of the episode to hear this week's audience question. And now, on to the news. PAX East is happening this weekend, and Square Enix is attending in mighty force, as they usually do, but especially mighty this time because they have an expansion right around the corner. In fact, they even made the official lanyard for PAX, the one that they hand out like in all the buckets and stuff that have a million, like right default when you get your badge. Yeah. It's covered in Dawntrail, and then if you flip to the other side, it features, of course, an advertisement for the free trial of the critically acclaimed MMO Final Fantasy XIV. If you're at the event, make sure to check out both panels for Final Fantasy XIV and Final Fantasy XVI, because they usually give out some real nice swag. If you're not at the event, make sure to check out the live streams, because we're going to get some really great news, I'm sure, out of the weekend. Final Fantasy XVI, they've already confirmed they'll be chatting about the upcoming DLC for the game. And they did, in fact, confirm that it is Leviathan. They confirmed that in a marketing email. Okay, but we will be having that information, I believe, on Sunday. And hopefully a release date for the DLC. I'm predicting that's going to be next month to line up with the crossover in 14. But we also have the Dawntrail panel to look forward to as well. And I have a pretty good feeling about this one. They've been hyping it up, and if I had to predict, I would say we will likely be getting a Dawntrail release date Saturday at the panel. Fingers crossed, but we'll see. They usually like to save some sort of exciting announcement for this event, so only time will tell. But Yoshi P definitely seems like he has something up in his sleeve, so please look forward to it. In other Final Fantasy XIV news, yesterday marked the official first day for Xbox players to be welcomed into Eorzea everywhere. If you are an Xbox player, make sure to grab the starter edition on Game Pass before April 19th, because you will be able to get the base game, A Realm Reborn, and the expansion Heavensward and the expansion Stormblood for basically free as long as you have a Game Pass account. But again, deadline is April 19th. Make sure to grab it while you can. And Xbox players will also be able to select from some really adorable Dawntrail themed profile pictures for their accounts that I really like, that I'm thinking about just downloading and having anyway, because they're really nice. And you can download them if you would like on the Lodestone on their most recently announced news item. Next up, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news. We have a new patch. A performance patch, mostly graphical updates, a little bit of performance updates. And my personal favorite update, they made it so that you can choose your difficulty setting for a couple of select, let's say, problematic minigames. So very exciting news. Thank you for that. That released on Wednesday, so please enjoy it. Yesterday was Nobuo Uematsu's birthday. The timeless composer turned 65, lending the past 38 of those 65 years to Square Enix conducting countless musical masterpieces across the Final Fantasy series. Happy birthday, Uematsu-san. On the topic of legendary composers, Yoko Shimomura, known best for her works on the Kingdom Hearts series, received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Game Developers Conference in California this week, an achievement she has more than earned for her contribution to gaming over the past 36 years. Rumors recently cropped up that she was confirmed to be working on Kingdom Hearts 4, but they were quickly dispelled in the same IGN article stating she is working on several pieces for a variety of games. Only time will tell if one of these games is indeed Kingdom Hearts 4. We'll see. It's possible that they just accidentally let it slip early. But okay, IGN, whatever you say. Staying on the topic of music, Distant Worlds just recently announced their worldwide Rebirth tour. It's going to feature music from the most recent entry, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as well as cinematics, and it's going to be an incredible show. If you've never been to a Distant Worlds concert before, I very much encourage you to go check out their website and see if there's a city near you performing. It's led by conductor Annie Roth, as well as his son Eric Roth, depending on what location you pick to attend the concert. And you're going to want to make sure to grab your tickets now, as I'm sure they're going to run out fast. And last but certainly not least, on this musically filled news segment, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth official soundtrack will be releasing April 10th. Literally within minutes, I don't think it was even hours, within minutes of the pre-orders for this soundtrack, the special edition, which included a bonus CD with minigame music, as well as other really beautiful limited edition merch that came with the collection, sold out. It sold out instantaneously. But the normal album is still available to pre-order, and you should definitely think about picking it up. The music is absolutely incredible. Make sure to pre-order it soon, just in case it sells out again. And it's an especially good day to pre-order because our guest today is actually featured on that very same soundtrack. Let's meet him right now.
Everyone loves so happy hands like a sea.
So I have with me today the wonderful, incredibly talented Paolo Andrea Di Pietro. It's a pleasure to have you here on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us on our humble little beginnings. I'm really excited to have you.
And thank you very much for having me.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Thank you for taking the time. So I understand that you've been singing since you were 16 years old and doing music for even longer. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah. Basically, before I could sing, there is a bit of story.
Okay.
I was born with very quite strong asthma. I'm not sure about the English pronunciation. Asthma, when you have problem with breathing.
Asthma.
Yeah, asthma.
Yeah.
And when I was very little, I couldn't do any sports. I couldn't remember one time there was music class at school, and everybody had to sing something. And when my turn came, the class representative, like the main student in the class, said, "Oh, we can skip Paolo because he has, this breathing problem, so he can't sing." And that's something that really stayed with me. And so I was really looking forward to this game, and I bought it day one when it came to Europe, to Italy. And it was all in English. I still didn't really learn English. So basically, I played all Final Fantasy VII with a dictionary, Italian English dictionary. And that's how I learned English.
That's wonderful.
Time. Because it's funny, at the time, I was 10. So I was middle school, middle school in Italy, and they still didn't teach. I know it was like first year of middle school. They still didn't teach English. I was studying Latin, but not English.
That classical training. Yep.
Yeah, it was very classical. And so I learned English by playing Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy VII also, introduced me to music. I was from the bombing mission in the beginning. Then when you go out in the field for the first time, you hear for the first time the main theme.
Yeah.
And also I remember there was the piano. Then I remember my father had a guitar, and I would on the guitar like try the melodies from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And it really got me into music. And but what got me into like vocal music was the ending of Final Fantasy VII. Because until then all the music is synthesized, but like in the very end, the very last song, you have vocal samples mixed with the music. Sephiroth, da-da-da-dun, dun, dun, dun. And and that really remained with me. I was like, oh, the beauty of the organic voice in contrast to the synthetic instruments before that. And from there I got really interested. That song is a bit based on some Carmina Burana, which is it's a curse work in Latin. And like the phrase "Veni, veni, veni, assumene mori facias," that comes from the Carmina Burana.
Right.
And so I got into Carmina Burana, then I got into Verdi's Requiem, and from starting from that kind of music, oratorio, choral music, I got into opera. And at first, I started playing guitar because I always thought, oh, I don't have the lungs to be a singer. But I began studying, like at the local school, I began studying a bit of opera. And basically by studying opera, I managed to counter my asthma.
That's so cool.
To manage my breath so that I wouldn't close the breathing canal. And basically, I got really healed from asthma when I got to like 20 years old. But like from since I was 10 years old to 20, I studied music, I studied vocal singing, and basically after I finished the school, I started. For a while, I would play guitar and sing in metal bands when I was in my teens. But then when I finished school, when I was 18, I managed to enter the Conservatory of Milan, which is one of the most important schools in the world for opera.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And, also I had the luck to meet Angelo Forese and Bonaldo Giaiotti, who are very famous opera singers. Angelo Forese, when I studied with him, he was 92 years old. And he was still singing.
Wow. What an incredible experience that must have been.
Yeah. Maybe I will find you also some a bit snippet of my teacher singing at 92 years old.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love to see that. Yeah.
And basically, this Angelo Forese took me as his pupil, and then I did 2 vocal competitions, and I won. Like the first 2 vocal competitions that I entered, I won both of them. It was my first time, like singing in public. I was studying conservatory, studying privately with this Angelo Forese.
So much
Then
for
I
not
won
having the
this
lungs.
and then basically after that, I became a professional opera singer in Italy. I was with Aslico. Aslico basically, is basically an opera company for singers from 20 to 30 years old, young singers. And thanks to this opera company, I was able to sing a bit all around Italy. The problem was that it was hard to get paid. It was hard to get paid because, you do the job, then, it's Italy, they are like, okay, we'll pay you next month. Like this month, sorry, we didn't receive all the money. And it was very stressful.
Yes, the international language of being an artist of any kind, trying to get paid. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, like artistically, it was amazing. Like singing in Italian theaters, the orchestras, it's very beautiful arts in them. So, it was amazing singing opera in Italy, but I wasn't getting paid, so it was very stressful.
Okay, so that's wow. So what a fascinating just origin, just in general. You went from being a child, having asthma, thinking that you wouldn't really be able to do much athletic, maybe not even use your voice. You were classically trained, you were taking Latin, you didn't even know English yet, and then you come across Final Fantasy VII. You hear all of the music for the first time. You're teaching yourself English literally out of a dictionary, playing this game. Is this what you're telling me? This is amazing. It reminds me of my partner played Pokemon and learned French that way. Like he would play it in French so that he could.
French.
Yeah, but that's just it's such a fun way to learn a new language. I love that so much, and I think the power of games and Final Fantasy truly is something that affects the human experience no matter where you're from, no matter like what part of the world you're from, no matter what kind of thing you're interested in. It affected you in that way, and that's so amazing. Okay, so then you then leaned into it, and I have done some singing in the past. You can totally conquer those kinds of things, asthma, all of those things, like breathing from your diaphragm, all of the things that you learn just like goes beyond that. That's wow, that's really amazing and inspiring. And so, okay, so getting inspired from Final Fantasy VII, and then now you've worked on Square Enix titles, you've worked in anime, you've worked in these things. Is that inspiration, that's the thing that led you to working in Japan, basically? Is that, and that's
Yes,
kind of the
like when I
reason
played Final
you picked
Fantasy VII, it
Japanese?
was the first time that I thought, oh, look, like Dragon Ball, Fist of the North Star, this Final Fantasy VII, they are all from Japan. So I was
Right.
like, oh my, so they have very, very interesting, artistic production in
Yeah.
Japan.
Okay. And so then
That's
you kind of added.
Final Fantasy VII, let me think that. And also I remembered that when I was playing Final Fantasy VII, what I thought was, oh, okay, like this is one of the best way to tell a story because you're really invested in the characters. You can spend a lot of time with each music track. You can just stop and listen to it.
Yeah.
Also, there is a lot of reading, and also, I had time to just pause and look what they are saying with the dictionary.
Yep.
And also, I like that, being an RPG, there's also the math, a bit of math, how can I deal more damage to this enemy with weak to fire? How
Exactly.
can I multiply the
I
damage?
find
So
math
that
and music are such a good partnership.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
they and like the rhythm and everything is, I could see, I've never thought of that before, but I could see the overlay and interest in music with the interest in like turn-based combat because of
Yes.
exactly what you're
Yes,
talking
it's
about,
true.
like that. And
There are
even with the
many.
ATB system, right? Like timing, like you have to like be on the beat of like when your stuff is going to come up. I've never thought about it as music before, but I love that.
And also, Final Fantasy VII had a piano. There was a piano. You can play the
Yeah.
piano.
Absolutely. And so I actually heard that you became even like a bit of a meme in Japan,
Yeah.
like thanks to
Yeah.
the spiral set of commercials that you worked on. And let me see if I can get this right. I'm probably going to totally butcher it, but I'm going to try anyway. It's like, Jaidesu!
Yes, yes. JDC. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Is that it?
Yeah.
あなたの店の商品全部買います
全部
早速カードで
うちカード使えないんすよ
じゃあいいです
Can you tell us more about that experience?
Yeah,
Can
that
you tell
was
us a little
like
bit about that?
that was my very first even audition, which wasn't opera. Basically, I got a bit like scouted as a model. I was doing with commercial only voice,
Mm-hmm.
and there was like some girl who also who does both, both manager as both voice jobs and also like on screen appearance and modeling. I like at the moment they told me read this sentence, this serif, and they were and they wanted me to read it first in American accent. And then they told me, try something, different accent. And I did the accent from Milan, which is a bit as close to France. That's why I became Jay dessus because of it. The Milan accent is a bit very open air.
Okay.
And very close to you. Ooh, Jay dessus. And they really like that. And
It's
also
just
like the
fun to
moment
say.
the moment I did it, they were like, oh, okay, this one is different than the other. Also, the volume of the voice, because basically in the first commercial, because the product is called AirPay, so they wanted to play a bit with the air, and basically the first commercial, I come on a helicopter, and basically I'm speaking from the helicopter. And they really took my voice from they filmed and recorded from ground while I was really speaking from the helicopter. So they
Oh my
wanted me to
gosh.
shout, "Sumimasen!" and it goes away. But basically, this at first it was only one commercial, but it had like huge success. It was my first like job on television. And
What a first job, getting recorded out of a helicopter. Japanese
yeah, it
commercials
was
are
good. Also,
wild.
it was like all open, so it was like, oh my god, if I fall from here. I had security bell, but it's like it was all just a bit scary.
Oh my goodness.
Then I was also regular on a TV show with cartoon. So there was a
Okay.
period before Corona. This was before Corona. Before Corona, I was a lot on TV. If I went to the south, they would, ask for autograph,
Oh, cool.
photograph. Said in
Yeah.
Tokyo, like when I enter in the train, they say, "Oh, look, it's the guy from the commercials." That's
Oh,
yeah,
it's the
on
China guy.
yeah, that's what they say. But and instead, people who watched that cartoon TV show, they knew me by name. On
Yeah.
that cartoon TV show, my catchphrase was "Room service."
Okay. It makes me
That was
think like here in the States, we have like the State Farm guy, like there's a couple of different, like, especially insurance
yeah,
commercials, I
absolutely, yeah.
feel
And
like.
it was that guy in Japan, and they still use it. It's like now it's 6 years old. The first commercial. Jadis, what does it mean? It means there is something that looks very appealing, but then there's like a small something small that say, "Ah, no, I don't want to do that. It's a waste of time." And they say, "Okay, it's all right," and you go away. So they use it as a meme, like for
Mm,
example.
I see. Okay. Okay. I see. And so now it's a meme of just like anything that you would
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
but
So now
never mind. Like,
nowadays
okay.
they use like my picture, sometimes just my picture when they have to
All right. Well, here on the
say, "Oh,
Final
it's all right."
Fantasy show, we have a meme celebrity right here for the very first time. That's amazing. Very, very cool. And what an awesome opportunity. I mean, that must have been just so fun to work in. So, all right. So, eventually that led you into the anime and gaming industry. And so now that you've
Yeah.
actually performed as a vocalist in not one, but multiple Final Fantasy entries, I want to know, like, how did you get involved in those kinds of projects? And then what was the process like after you were hired?
Okay, like the first project I did, which is somehow with Square Enix, was with Dragon Quest Dai no Daiboken. And basically that was anime. It's an anime of Dragon Quest.
And that's Adventure of Dai here in the States, right?
Oh yes, I
Okay.
think yes, maybe.
Thank you.
Maybe, yes.
Maybe.
And the music for that was is Hayashi Yuki-san, who is the composer of My Hero Academia.
Wow.
And, basically, because we have many friends in common, and I was watching My Hero Academia. When I always watch, when I watch anime, I always work out with
He
dumbbells.
did Haikyuu as well, right?
Yes.
I love
Haikyuu,
Haikyuu.
and then he did this Dragon Quest project. And basically, I DM'd him like, oh, hey, I'm this guy, and I love your music on My Hero Academia. And he was like, okay, let's work together one day. And he contacted me for this Dragon Quest Dai no Daiboken, the Adventure of Dai. And in that one, basically, I sing all the themes of the main, the Demon King, Daimao Ban. And from that, I got contacted for. First, it was Final Fantasy Intermission for the Happy Turtle. Happy Turtle.
I love
What a
it. You
weird
did the
story.
Happy Turtle song. It's so
Now,
good.
and why? Because in Japan, I'm the commercial guy. I'm in a lot of commercial. Also,
Right?
also not only that I pay. I'm like, I think I did over 150 commercial.
Wow.
Yes, I'm the commercial guy. So it's a bit of
The
an
commercial
in-joke
guy.
that for the Happy Turtle, they get the commercial guy.
Square Enix is
And
like, we
basically in the
need the
Happy
commercial guy
Turtle,
for our commercial.
yeah, the Happy Turtle. It's funny, and I don't sing opera. I sing in Japanese. Kame 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 doraku. It's like this very high voice. And then well, I sing the first one you hear when there is the kame, the turtle guy. When you meet the turtle guy with youth in the beginning,
Yeah.
it's like this version with the shamisen singing and the shamisen playing and me singing. What was it? It's like weird. I don't know. But it was very funny. And
It's
also,
so good. I loved
also,
the
when
whole
we record
Yu-Gi-Oh
this
theme.
stuff, well, these silly songs in remake, but song Rebirth, it's it's like very party like. Yeah, let's record it. Also, we try to use like real environment. So we go on location and we just sing on location.
Oh, cool.
We try to get very organic recordings. I'm friends with people who work on Rebirth. There is another Italian guy who is a planner, basically decides how all the enemies move. And then there is my Spanish friend who is a programmer, and they say they try also programming. They don't use AI. Also to the side where they put the tree and so on, it's like all men decided. They don't do like, oh, AI fill this area. No, it's all very organic. There
And
are
placed.
many groups who work on this area.
Yeah.
They try to put as much as they can into it. Then there is like the main producer who checks everything, saying, okay,
Yeah.
not change this one. No, you can't. I don't like this tree here. It's very meticulous work.
Yeah. I
And
believe it. I
for
have
the music.
Yeah, I'm sure the music is similar. I have a slight background with like game design and different things like that. The amount of detail that you see in any of these kinds of games, especially ones that aren't using AI and different things like that, like there is someone there hand placing all of these little details. And apparently in Rebirth, putting singers into bars, into actual like on location places just to make sure that it's exactly right. That's so cool. Okay, so you performed in Rebirth, and I understand that you can't talk about the specifics yet.
Yeah, I have to wait until they release the soundtrack so that it's all published.
Gotcha.
That's a bit of advertising. On April 10th in physical form, and streaming will be late.
Okay, so the soundtrack is coming April 10th. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I remember seeing that. Oh, I'm so excited. And they're going to be doing a concert series later this year, I think, as well. And the music in Rebirth is just so good.
It's amazing.
Would you be able to
Sorry,
speak?
we speak about too many things.
I know there's so many different things to talk about. It makes me excited. Final Fantasy makes me excited, but would you be able to speak? Okay, speaking of being excited and just all the things that you feel about Final Fantasy, right? Like, would you be able to speak a little bit about the emotion of
Oh, okay,
what it
yeah.
seems to me to kind of be a part of like a lifetime project? Like, how does that make you feel? Like to be a part of Rebirth, to be a part of these like
Because, you know,
projects?
for remake, it was a bit of a silly song. It was very funny. And there was, you know, just brought in to, you know, record this song, sing over this shamisen. And instead for Rebirth, like exactly 2 years ago, I was contacted for the first time. I also got to see, you know, like the area where the song is. I also, you know, they told me like the meaning in Japanese, what I had to sing about. But I had to also write my own lyrics based on that in Latin. So I also wrote the lyrics for this
Wrote the
song.
lyrics. That's so cool.
Yeah, and we work on this song like, well, not always, but it's like in 2 years. No, well, we finished 1 year ago. Like 1 year, it was this song. You know, do you know, speak about the lyrics. Okay, then how do we do that? How do we do the arrangement? And then, you know, back and forth. And I could see a lot of, you know, gameplay gameplay of Rebirth like already 2 years ago.
2 years
So
ago. Wow, how cool is that?
yeah, it was nice, you know. I was, but you know, and also, you know, the trailer comes out, they're like, oh, it has a card game. Like, what? I had no idea there was a card game in this. It's just so
Yeah.
big, such a big project.
Yeah, like you saw this like inside scoop, but you didn't know like all of these like other details. There's so many,
Yeah,
there's
because
so much
there's
there.
so much
Yeah.
stuff inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Well, that's really cool. So yeah, just really awesome just to be a part of that project for so long and
Yeah.
really
Sorry, and this like the song for Epitaph was a commercial song, so it was very, you know, happy. And I said
right.
this time it was way more dramatic.
That can be nice.
It's a way more dramatic song.
Yeah. You can put more emotion into something like that, put more of yourself into it, put more of that like and get
Yeah,
that
and
to
as I
resonate
said,
through.
it was I can't still say where, but you know, also in probably Square Enix will talk about this one day. We recorded it in a very peculiar place. Also, the demo I recorded it in Italy in a peculiar place. So there was a lot of research about just, you know, the reverb, the natural reverb. And
So much intrigue. Now I want to know like where you were recording, why you were recording there.
you get, you know, I'm receiving a lot of messages like people who didn't know I'm singing. They were like, wait, Paolo, is this you? There is like this guy singing. It just sounds like your voice. Like, yes, it's
Well,
me. You
I'll
found
have to do a
Thank you.
follow-up after this episode comes out, like on Twitter or something, and being like, okay, this is who he was, like after the
Oh,
soundtrack
and
comes
it's
out.
not, you know, it's not like that important, but you know, to
So
finish the
what?
game,
It's cool.
you have to at least hear a bit of it.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
stay in the area, you can hear all of it. But
Yeah,
yeah, you know,
very
it's
cool. Okay, so you have done some incredible performances over your career. I mean, I watched your Genshin Impact performance. You were able to
oh yeah,
participate in the Genshin Impact concert series. I saw that on their
oh yes,
official YouTube series twice. Wow. And I saw that you've performed in Carnegie Hall. I
oh
know you
yes,
were in like countless like Italian opera houses during your career in
yeah.
Italy, all of these places. Can you speak just like a little bit about these experiences? And do you have a favorite performance that you've done? Talk to me a little bit
Okay,
about that.
well, yeah. In Italy, you know, as I said before, it was, you know, singing with Aslico. The Genshin Impact jobs they did, they were the one where it was the most fulfilling. Also because they came, you know, I getting all these jobs, you know, because of the JDC. I was a bit forced as a comedian. I always had to sing funiculi funiculante inna ninna la la la, all this Italian stuff.
Yeah,
It was very stereotyped.
Stereotype, yeah.
Instead,
Okay.
I'm more into the dramatic part of opera. I like
Right.
I like the dark side of opera more.
Yeah.
The dramatic side. Also, I used to perform metal metal songs. I like
Okay.
I prefer the dark side, and I
Tense
was
and brooding and yeah, all of the
I
good
was
stuff.
very depressed about it, because all the on-screen jobs were comedies, and all the voice work were all very,
Getting
for example,
typecast.
even the happy turtle, the happy turtle, it's like a bit
Yeah.
happy. I wanted to sing something more dramatic, and at the same time, I was really depressed. Also, I had some health problems after. Well, I don't know if it's good to speak about this, but basically, my right part of my body was getting paralyzed. Now I'm fine, but for like 1 year, I had like if you see the first video I did with Genshin Impact, I'm acting with my left hand. I'm acting because I couldn't move my right one.
Yeah.
So I was when I recorded both Rebirth and both the first music video of Genshin Impact, I almost recorded them. Okay, this might be the last time I perform, the last time I record. So it was really dramatic, like even in real life, because I
Yeah.
had some like inflammation problem on just the right part. But it's like also, now I tend to show more the left part of my face because the right part for a while was
Yeah.
paralyzed.
Wow, that must have been really
So say
hard.
if you see again now the first music video I did with Genshin Impact with it is like 3 million views on YouTube, and like on Bilibili has like 7 million views. I was half paralyzed in that one.
Wow.
It was very hard to do that.
Wow, that would
I
have
was
been such a
almost
challenge.
okay. I
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah.
But so
Kudos to you for, pushing through that. But yeah, I think it's very important to talk about mental health and how that impacts you and all of that.
no, it was a really dark time, and that
Yeah.
and the worst time I recorded both that first music video of Polumia Omia for Genshin Impact and the song that you can hear in Rebirth, which is very dark. The two is very dramatic
Yeah.
and dark. And but I'm happy that they're both. I think they're both quite good recording, even though I was broken. But so that there is a very real,
And
organic
life of an artist. Yeah.
in those
Wow.
two recordings. Instead,
Yeah.
when I did the second music video for Genshin Impact, that one is filmed in China. And that's the one you can hear. I have like double the voice. I'm very much stronger. Also, the kind of video they wanted, like the image of the boss battle.
Right.
I was. It's funny because it's not green screen. It's filmed like the Mandalorian, which is like the computer part is generated before,
Okay.
and you're like in this sphere like stuff, and you act in this sphere, and you have like
Oh,
the real reflection of the computer generated stuff.
yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah, like, I work with Nishiki-san for that new arrangement of Polumnia Omnia. Nishiki-san he works on Octopath Traveler. He did
Yep.
the final boss battle with Sephiroth in Remake, and he worked also on Rebirth. I still don't know where. No, but it was very nice. I loved the Chinese, and it was like my big comeback. Okay, finally my voice is back. I can move both hands. And after that, I sang Rhapsodia Roshida and Polumnia Omi, 2 songs this time. I was so happy because there is guitar, there is live electric guitar, drums, and synthesizer, all live. It was nice that Miyano Sachiko-san, she does all these live symphonic arrangements. She works also Final Fantasy, on Demon Slayer. She's very famous. She works also on the games like Kingdom Hearts 3. Since Final Fantasy 15, I think she always works with all the Square Enix games that come out,
Okay.
and she's mostly works on the live concerts. And she was also there when we did the first Genshin Impact music video. She was there, and that's how I met her. And she wanted to have me back because she heard me live. She knows how I
Yeah.
can sing live.
Yeah.
And I think that my voice is way better if you hear it live, because the moment in which you record it, you lose something. You have to lose something
Yeah.
because in opera is I use all the body to.
I was going to ask, how does performing live compare to performing in a booth or in, any other situation that
the
you've been
booth,
in?
it depends a lot also how it gets mixed later. It's something out of my control. So it's I'm always curious to hear how the final mix will come out, because especially with opera singing, opera singing is not made for a microphone.
Yeah.
It's made to resonate as much as you can in a theater.
Natural acoustics. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually based on how the children scream when they're newborn. Use ha 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 like this.
I have
So
never heard that
it's very
before.
natural
Okay.
and very noisy.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah. I have a 2-year-old that I am familiar with that cry.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a bit how
Interesting.
opera singer sings.
They try to mimic that pitch,
Yes.
basically. Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. In opera singing, basically, you resonate in holes in your skull for the head voice, and
Yeah.
here for the chest voice.
Okay.
The chest voice, you resonate in this.
I see you.
So,
Hey, how you doing
basically,
that?
you use the bones of head of chest. So I don't always want to sing like an opera, to always speak like an opera singer. I want to try different
Yeah.
voices and so on. That
Tried
you
to
can
make
do
it.
only with a microphone, only when you record.
Yes.
You can't do like this voice in theater.
Okay. So that would be an upside to like a booth or something like that, as you can
Yeah. You
start
have
to play
you
around
can
with those different kinds of sounds.
play around. Yeah, I like it.
Interesting. If there's anyone out there watching that dreams of one day performing on a Final Fantasy title in some way or elsewhere, just in gaming or anime industry, just in general, what advice would you give them?
Well, it's easier if you can speak Japanese. So, and to speak Japanese, first you absolutely have to learn very well the hiragana alphabet, because once you learn very well the hiragana alphabet, you can a bit think in Japanese. It helps you a lot to think in the way they do. Also, for communication in general. Kanji, the ideograms, they're a bit
Start writing this
difficult.
down. Okay.
So I say, learn hiragana first. Learn hiragana. Also try to bring something that maybe Japanese people don't have. Because many of the jobs I get is because most Asian people, they can't get as low as I can. They can. There are many good singers for high notes, but this kind of voice. All the Russian people, they're very good. North Europe and the Russian people, they're very good
Yeah.
at this kind of
It would be a different
low voice.
range.
But
Yeah.
like in Japan, not so much. So most of the jobs I do is because they want like dark voice, low voice, or I'm not that tall, but here in Japan I'm considered a giant because I'm 6'2".
Yeah, that would be tall.
188. Because basically I'm European mix, but my face is very Spanish because my family, I look a lot like my mother, and like my nose and eyebrows, they're just like my mother, and it's all from Spanish origin. But instead, my body is very Viking. It comes from the north. Like
What a
my
combo.
grandfather was blonde with blue eyes.
Yeah, okay.
Guy, very, very Viking. Unlike
Yes.
us, a Latin.
That
North
explains a
European.
lot about your build. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were able to sing as Draco in Final Fantasy VI. I know the French and Italian versions.
Yeah.
Now, was that something that you ever imagined that you would be able to do? Like, is that something that
It's
you
funny
thought
because
of that would be cool that would combine the two?
I was actually planning, okay, it was just after I recorded for Intermission. They told me, oh, okay, they are recording now for this Final Fantasy VI, and they still haven't recorded the Italian and French one. So I got in when otherwise I would I would have wanted to sing like all the languages.
All of them.
I studied a lot of languages, so I was like, no, I can sing all of this, but they already recorded or the other one, only Italian and French were remaining. So I recorded the Italian and French version of Draco. The Italian version also, I could choose the other singers. They asked me, and I think the Italian is the also. No, I shouldn't say anything negative. But the Italian version is very good. All three singers are very trained
Of
opera
course, because
singers.
it's Italian. I feel like I would love to play 6 in Italian just to see that scene like all the way through with all of that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, the Italian version of the PAX Remaster is very good. Very good.
In a way, I feel like being the Italian voice of Draco is almost a bigger flex than being the English voice of Draco, because Italian opera, I mean, that's so much better.
I'm
anyway.
happy also that I did the French. I also really like the French version.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Very cool experience, I'm sure. I had so much fun talking to you today, Paolo. Thank you so much for, again, taking the time to come on.
My
It was
pleasure.
fascinating to hear just your entire journey and all of that from your perspective. It's a very unique perspective that we don't get to hear a lot, so especially over here in the States. So thank you again for sharing all of that with us. Is there anything that you currently would like to promote, maybe your socials or anything like that, where people can find you?
Oh yeah, if you follow me on social net, I'm mostly active on Instagram, but I'm trying to do a bit more also on Twitter, now X, and YouTube.
Twitter
Maybe
Undead, as my
TikTok,
last
but
guest like to call it.
Yeah. Also, oh yeah, I would like to do more, like musical projects on YouTube. I have something, but I want to do more like this year when I have time.
Okay, absolutely. Well, we'll
finish
definitely
my-
keep an eye out for that. I would love to see anything more of your performances. You're so talented.
And please play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yes, please. If you're not playing Rebirth, please go play Rebirth. Oh, such a good game.
Yeah,
I
so
can't wait
good,
to
so good.
dig deeper into that on my stream this week.
Yeah, I'm currently on chapter 4, but I'm looking forward to. I'm playing it very slowly because
Nice.
I'm
That's
enjoying
awesome.
every small detail.
Yes, you have to in this game. There's just so many details to see. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, thank you again so much. I'm gonna end it there. This was an amazing interview. Again, Paolo, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you when I see you. I'm gonna get better at these outros eventually. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you very much.
That was Paolo Andrea Di Pietro, everyone. What an absolute legend to have on the show. It was fascinating to learn so much about his life, and I, for one, cannot wait to see where his career goes next. Don't forget to pre-order the soundtrack for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, releasing April 10th, and of course, play the game today. Staying within our musical theme, today's audience participation question is: what is your favorite overworld theme from the Final Fantasy series? There are a lot of incredible ones to pick from, so I'm really excited to hear what you guys come back with this time. I am also very pleased to announce the next guest for the Final Fantasy show will be none other than wonderful, lovely content creator, Yunalescka. She is incredibly proud of her Final Fantasy collection, so much so that she will actually be going for a Guinness World Record later this year. And she will be showcasing that collection right here on the Final Fantasy show in 2 weeks. So please look forward to that. I can't wait for all of you to see her collection. All right, everybody. That's it for the show today. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Siryn, and I will see you next time. Bye.